Hi everybody, welcome back to Lab on Demand. This is Cheyenne. Welcome to today's little short segment on how to use props. Now this is a very short video about using props, specifically blocks in your practice. A lot of times when we come to practice, I notice that many people are a little resistant to using blocks. Maybe it's because you don't know how to use them, but sometimes it's because we feel like using blocks might mean that our practice is not as strong or not as efficient or good. That honestly is a fallacy. Using blocks oftentimes create a lot more space in the body when we're able to find a challenge that we can breathe and relax into. I know that sounds strange, like a challenge that is comfortable, but when you are able to find a challenge that is comfortable, the body actually has a lot more to give and a lot more space to open into, and that's when you really begin to feel a strong stretch rather than pain in that stretch. When you are tense, the body tenses as well. So let's do a few shapes and poses to show you how you're able to use those blocks in your practice. These two are very short flows that are very common in class, and blocks will help you immensely in these shapes, even if it's only for a little while. Okay? We're going to come to a standing position. The blocks are going to be usually next to us on the mat. So standing at the top of our mat, the first pose I recommend using the blocks for is your forward fold. So arms up as we always do, finding a big lift in an inhale. As we forward fold, we often bend our legs in that first forward fold, but consider using the blocks to lift that ground up towards you so that you have something to push into in your halfway lift. Now, the block is not there for you to lean your weight into, rather, it's a lift of that floor that's higher, so you're able to push down to bring the chest forward. My legs have more room to move into, there is more length in the front of my body, and my collarbone can feel nice and wide there. Okay? From this position, we're going to take low lunge. I'm going to step my left foot big step to the back. Bring the blocks with you. This is a position, low lunge, that you are very comfortable and familiar with already. To start using the blocks, let the arms relax. So your arms are literally hanging next to your body. This would mean usually that the shoulders are over the hips quite comfortably. As I sit deeper into my lunge, I'm going to make sure that my arms are still hanging here, and I'm going to place my blocks down. Now, these blocks are at second height. If that's too low for you, feel free to bring them to the higher height. Okay? Otherwise, the blocks are right under my shoulders. I push into the blocks to feel length in my spine as I sit deep to find length and stretch in the front of my left thigh. Shoulders are back, set over the hips. Not rounding, not overarching, right there to help support you. Sit down lower, push into the blocks more. For 3, for 2, and the next shape everyone's familiar with, half split. Half split is usually the first shape that we use the blocks for. Don't be afraid to bring the blocks closer to your front leg. Almost feels like it's hugging your front leg. Those of you who are quite comfortable here, push the mat or rather push the blocks away. So the blocks again function like the mat that's being raised up. You want to push to lift the chest forward. It almost feels like my hands are pulling back so that my chest can lift forward. At the same time, dig that right heel down, hold that right hip back so you feel length in the back of your thighs. Just breathing here. Those of you who want to go a little bit more, finding length in the side body, feel free to bring the blocks forward and push into the blocks so you feel length in your side body. As you pull the hip back, you're pushing into the hands for 3 and 2, and walk those back. Grounding that front foot, walk the blocks one big step forward. This is where we find supported warrior 3. Back knee off, fingertips light on the blocks, lift off. That That back leg that's floating is pushing back into an imaginary wall. My standing leg is pushing down into the mat. My fingertips are pushing into the blocks so my chest can lift forward. Moving the hands is only an option. There you go, that's the first series that you might be able to use those blocks in. I'm going to show you a short second series that you might want to consider using the blocks for as well. Blocks with you, wide-legged stance position. Okay, let's do the left side. Okay, I'm going to mirror you. So imagine you're taking warrior 2 on your right leg. Move this to the side, place one block to that right inner thigh. I like to begin with level 2, that means the medium height of that block. Sometimes when I go too high, I don't know whether I can go lower. Sometimes when I go too low, I feel like the block is too far away. From here, I know that I can adjust if I need to. Warrior 2, side angle, hand down into that block. Maybe opposite arm is up, or finding that extension. Now, a lot of people don't like to take this variation because they feel like maybe it means I cannot go down far enough. But if your block is on level 2, like my hand is right here, if I remove that block, my hand is here, technically, if I extend my fingers, I am right there. That block is just there so that you have something more firm to push into, so you feel support. So don't be afraid to use that block. It's the same for triangle pose. If you are on that second level especially, it really is just one hand distance from the floor if you're using that block. But look at how much more length I have in my side body compared to very often I see practitioners doing this, crunching into that side, moving the hips towards the wall behind them. You want to feel like that front body can open. Okay? So know that the blocks are your best friends. Don't be afraid to use them in class, not just for yin class, but for active yang classes as well. Even in faster flow classes, if you are quite comfortable grabbing those blocks, don't be shy to use them. Even if your teachers don't call for them, go ahead, grab them to support you in your practice, because you might surprise yourselves at how much more you're able to breathe and how much better you feel in class when blocks are there to support you. Thank you so much for joining me. Namaste everyone, my name is Cheyenne. I'll see you again soon. Bye!